The beauty of fractal systems is that they are not bound to scale. They do not recognize big or small. They recognize only ratio. And among all ratios found in nature, the Fibonacci ratios are the only ones that are absolute. Ratios that always apply. On the price axis, on the time axis, and on any axis that represents progression. This is why every market movement, fast or slow, wide or narrow, will always align with fractal proportion. The vertical, the horizontal, and the birth of the diagonal dimension. When a Fibonacci ratio applies to price, it creates a vertical structure. When the same ratio applies to time, it creates a horizontal structure. But when both act together, when price evolves through time by the same ratios, a new dimension emerges, a diagonal dimension. This is the true dimension of the market. Movement across time, in natural proportion. This is why movements appear slanted. Not purely vertical or horizontal. It is the geometry of growth. Every value carries its own meaning. Each Fibonacci value expresses a different status of the movement. Is it still internal? Is it already advanced? Is it part of a wider structure? Or just a small layer inside a much larger pattern? When price aligns with a given value, it is not just touching a number. It is aligning with a fractal state. 0.236 and 0.382 indicate internal movement, a natural correction within the same layer. 0.5 indicates equilibrium, the boundary between internal and external phases. 0.618 is the fundamental ratio of natural growth. A movement resting on it prepares itself for re-expansion. 1.0 and 1.236 signal dimensional expansion, a transition into a higher order wave. Every value is a key. Every value opens a different door, revealing the fractal layer you are currently observing. The two dimensions of Fibonacci, which are actually one. Fibonacci relationships are not built merely from numbers, but from two unified dimensions. 1. The static dimension, fixed phase. This is the dimension of constant proportions. 0.1 to 1 and 0.5 to 1. These represent internal balance and structural positioning. They reveal where a movement sits within itself. 2. The expansion dimension, multiplicative phase. This is the growing dimension, where each step expands through multiplication by 1.618. This describes the evolutionary path of a movement. 0.1, 1.618, 2.618, 4.236. A dimension of organic growth. And, as with any true fractal, these two dimensions are not separate. They are one. Together they form the architecture where the inner structure of the movement and its outward expansion merge into a single harmonic system. Why this matters for market analysis. Once you understand that these ratios are absolute, you understand that the market is not a collection of lines, but a dynamic system that must evolve according to proportional law. Once you identify which ratio is being fulfilled, you immediately know whether the movement is internal or external, whether the cycle is beginning or ending, its fractal depth, and its expected time and distance potential. You stop asking, where will the price go? And begin asking, which proportional state is the price-time system currently in? And that is the only question that truly matters.